What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Right on Cue podcast. As always, I'm your host, Logan Chestnut, El Jefe of Right on Cue. Joining me tonight is my barbecue brother, Mr. Matt Osmond Sr., a.k.a. Memphis, here we come. That's right, baby. Memphis in May is coming right around the corner, guys, and you will see yours truly and this beautiful bearded man next to me throwing it down there in Memphis. And I'm excited, man. I'm a Memphis in May virgin, so I want to pop my cherry this year, and hopefully we do it right. Matt, how you been, buddy?
I've been well, but unfortunately not together for the viewing audience, the listening audience. We are actually going to be in essence competitors.
I'm gonna whip his ass. That's what's going to happen.
Not in the same category though.
What
y'all
are
are cooking ribs. We're cooking shoulder with Team Water Dog.
I got you. Yeah, I know. I'm going to compete against my boy Bobby T with Heath Rouse. I'm going to compete against him. And then you're going to go against good old Mo, man.
Yeah, listen, it's a big field at Memphis, nonetheless. But to your point, man, I've been fine. It sounds like you've been a little bit under the weather, maybe, with all this.
No, I don't know what it is. Honestly, it's like I just snorted a line of dust bunnies, literally within the last hour, because it's freaking, dude. My allergies, like something happened. It's like wham, this left eye. I've been sneezing violently, so I apologize to your listening audience if I blow your eardrums out with a sneeze. What's up, TNS, man? I always appreciate you tuning in.
Listen, the week before or leading up to, I guess, Easter, and in fact, we talked like that. I was done. I could not. I never had a fever. Right, like the fever is kind of, I guess, how we judge things, or like when the kids got one or something. But like, I never had a fever, but it was flu-y with the body aches and everything, but no fever. And a couple days, man, I'm not ashamed to say I did not get out of bed until about 11, and then Easter like all came to a head, and then by the Monday, I didn't get out of bed till 2 p.m. on Easter.
Sounds like syphilis to me, man. I don't know what's going on, man. Shot of penicillin, get you right back on track, buddy.
For sure.
No, I'm kidding, man. Well, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better for sure. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do things more barbecue. It's funny, like this year has flown by with kind of new career path, new house, new city, and it's just barbecue. Unfortunately, is kind of taking a back seat to kind of life circumstances, as sometimes it does. What's up, Robbie?
Well, you snuck at least one in there so far. Like,
me and Cotton held it down, smoking on the shore. I'll never miss that one, unless I wrecked the day before.
That's like, oh man, that was last year, wasn't it?
That was, yeah, that's what it was. But no, and like I said, we got the World Invitational coming up in Lebanon. I'm going to cook that one. We got some other ones coming up. I'm excited for it. I'm super excited to hang out with my Alabama boys. All of us, a lot of us, Alabama backyard teams, our little posse. We are joining forces and going down to Memphis and trying to kick butt. I'm just excited. I'm excited just to be there. Honestly, there's so many like people I look up to in the barbecue world that I haven't got to meet.
Are we taking the show down there at all?
Oh yeah, no. We got two members together, so because of that, we got to we got to tape a little something. And I'm gonna fangirl because I know my boy Malcolm will be down there. I'm sure he's always there. So I'm gonna try to not fangirl too hard and see if I can get a little clip of him. So we'll see how that goes. But no, man, super excited to hang out. Hopefully have good weather. If not, who cares?
Well,
it's still a bucket list for me.
As somebody who's been there and cooked it, I will tell you, it is Memphis. It is May. It will rain. And if we don't get locked in the stadium because of tornado warning, or we don't have to evacuate, that's a good Memphis week. Because that's not been the situation in past times, unfortunately. But they have precautions. They have this. It's going to be wet. It's going to be hot. But we're going to be on asphalt. It's returning to Tiger Lane. Smoke Slam is obviously not doing it, and this will be the only show in town, like it was for a long time. But I'll be pumped. When you going down?
That's a great question. I got to talk to the wife and figure out the work situation. Boss lady got to okay it, but no, man, I'm excited. Like I said, this is the I may or may not have my BFR. I doubt I will, but at that point, but I'm excited to bring it down and see like all the hog cooking and stuff like that. All the MBN, like I love like the MBN style of cook because they're so diverse. You know, ribs, pork shoulders, a whole hog. I mean, when it comes to barbecue, let's we both talked about this, man. The whole hog is king. And I feel like if you're a true blue barbecue guy, like at some point in your life, you have to cook a whole hog.
Yep.
To check that box, you know what I mean?
I'm likely gonna miss Perry's event unless I do something dumb. But back in November, folks around here asked me to cook a whole hog in June.
Yeah.
And so of course I said yes. It's like, but
right. No, but speaking of whole hog, I mean, we got some guys tonight.
We do have a lot of leading.
Yeah, we got some heavy hitters tonight for the whole hog category. Like I said, they'll definitely be able to teach me a thing or two about that, and I'm excited to learn. Like I said, I'll officially have my first whole hog cooker, besides the cinder blocks, shopping carts that I've done in the past. Joining us tonight from Alabama, Mississippi, super team, so-called or not so-called, definitely super team, not so-called. No, they're not so-called super team. That's not what I meant to say. I mean, definitely a super team that come together for a great cause down here recently for Hogs for a Cause. A great organization, a great group of guys, and definitely excited to talk to them tonight. So without further ado, let's welcome some of the guys from Fire and Spice Barbecue Team. What's up, fellas?
What's up, guys?
Hey, James, James, you're on mute, buddy. What's up? Hey, there you go. Yeah, I can hear you now, buddy. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in or hopping on tonight, man. I appreciate it. I know you guys are busy, and but you got to hang out with us, and I truly appreciate that, man. How you guys been? Everything going good up in the world? CJ,
man,
Rob, can you hear me?
Well,
everything's good.
Let's do this, Logan. Let's for everything we'll go just because at least in order. We'll ask a question. Go CJ, James, Rob.
We'll point it out, man. We got more than one guest for a while in the first time, so I'll address who I'm talking to whenever I do the questions. I'll like I said, we'll flow this right. Start with CJ, man. CJ, tell the people kind of about kind of who you are, where you're from, and kind of how where you are in your competition cooking scene.
Well, my name's Charles Dabbs. Everybody calls me CJ. I'm a lifelong resident of the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I'm currently working and kind of staying in and around Auburn, Alabama. I've been cooking barbecue all my life. I think I've been competing now since 2016. It's actually how I met both of the gentlemen that's on here with us. And both of these guys are actually closer to me than just about everybody in my family. I talk to them regularly and accountable to both of them on most things, even outside of cooking, and that's the main thing that's great about cooking. It brings people together that you get to share a love for something and a passion, because we're all really passionate guys on Fire and Spice for sure. And, I've had the pleasure of meeting some great people. I compete mainly in the SCA for right now. And we do about 20 to 25 events. And, God's blessed us. We've had some good success. And I've cooked with James Cruz up at Memphis in May and felt what it feels like to place first, second, and third in the rib category behind such a great mentor and brother. Thank you, James, for that, bro. So that's basically who I am, man, so
good deal, man. Rob, how about you, buddy?
Hey, man. I've been cooking barbecue since I guess I started competing in 2013. I live in Mobile, Alabama, and met these guys along the way. I met James and CJ doing BCA competitions along the coast, and I do a lot of SCA with CJ. Me and CJ, we travel around. We cook a lot together.
I got you.
Cook with James at Memphis for what, two or 3 years?
I think 2.
2 or 3, yeah.
Somebody that maybe
And then,
3.
and then with you at Hogs for, I think this year was what, number 3 or 4? 4.
Yes, 4.
4,
4
yeah.
times.
4.
Yeah,
I got you.
it's been fun.
Good deal, man. All right, James, round me out, man.
I'm not a vegan. I'll start with that.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. We have vegans only here.
No, from Araby, Louisiana. I tell people I can throw a golf ball hit New Orleans. I'm in the last street of my parish where I live. It's home of the original Popeyes. Proudly to say that.
There you go.
No, I've been competing since 2006. I've competed with some really good teams. I look at people like Mark Lambert and John David Wheeler as my 2 mentors. And then you meet people along the way. Like I met Charles in 2016 in D'Iberville. We don't have enough time in this podcast to talk about, the journey we've been on and the way he's helped me out throughout the years and kind of my right-hand guy. And I tell people all the time, whether we're cooking whole hog or ribs, we don't have to say anything to each other. Not that we don't want to, but we just kind of, we know, it's just, we could be on opposite ends of the table, help each other. Same thing with Rob. Rob has come along the last handful of years. And together, these guys have helped, form a team that, whether it be Fire and Spice or Blood City Smokers in Memphis, that we're a hard team to beat, where to the point where we go in and for the most part, I don't care who the other guys are, they need to beat us if we don't beat ourselves. And, I've always said this one line over the years, and Charles can attest to this, that when people say, well, hey, you know who's here? Logan's here. I said, I ain't worried about him. I always said it, and it's not an arrogant thing. But the problem is you can't be intimidated by anybody, and we're just putting a piece of meat on the grill. So I've used that approach, and I've been competing. This is my 21st year competing. So, throughout the years, I always said I'll never stop being a student. The day that I think I know everything about barbecue, I'm quitting, and then pass it on to the next guy who thinks he's going to know everything. So for the most part, it always evolves. You always meet new people. As much as maybe I've I could say that, I've worked alongside of Charles and Rob. We've learned from each other as well. If, whether I taught them something or they taught me things, and it just kind of works. I mean, you have to like these guys on a personal level first. And these 2 guys are brothers of mine before they're teammates. And that helps when you're dealing with the contest.
That's right, man. Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, so we haven't really talked about that dynamic on this show too much because most of the time we're talking to individual pit masters and whatnot. But kind of, behind the scenes of building a barbecue team, because when you build a barbecue team, it's not like some other kind of teams you've been a part of. It's not something you kind of throw together willy nilly and kind of learn the personalities throughout. It's really a respect thing and somebody that you can trust. Like you're not just going to hop on somebody's barbecue team that you don't know or you don't respect them as a person, or they have to bring something to the party as well. And like you said, the barbecue community is, which we've always discussed on this show, is such a tight knit group. And whenever you see, situations like Memphis in May, or recently the Jack Daniels, I've seen a lot more super teams at the Jack Daniels, and I'm sure like the Houston Rodeo and stuff like that, the bigger, and Hogs for a Cause. It's from the bigger contest. You had these conglomeration of just expert pit masters coming together and kind of melding, and it's kind of funny because you see a lot of us have big personalities and we're all type A. We all like know exactly what we want and kind of how we want stuff done. But I feel like when you have a group of guys like you guys that are tight knit, and you, like you said, whenever you cook, you probably don't talk too much because everybody kind of knows their role and accepts it, and just it's part of a unit more so than the individual cooks like you are.
I talk way too much.
Yeah, well, me too. Hence why I have a podcast. That's the only reason I have this thing, so I can talk and people have to listen to me. Yeah, like I said, kind of tell me how, like, when y'all formed your super team, kind of how y'all kind of discuss the different roles, because obviously not everybody can do everything. Did y'all kind of point it out ahead of time, or do you just kind of go the flow and see where all the cards kind of fell?
It goes a few different directions. When I met Charles in 2016, the first thing I noticed about him, he had a passion versus somebody who was just eager just to try to get information from me. You know, he did have a lot of questions, but you could read that it wasn't questions to, you know what, in the barbecue world, shigging. Although he's a self-proclaimed ultimate shigger, he doesn't do it as much anymore. But I could tell he had a passion. He really wanted.
Hey, it ain't shigging if you ask him. Right?
That's right, man.
Yeah. So I could tell early on that he reminded me of. I'm only, I don't know, a couple years, 3 years older than you or so, but he reminded me of a younger version of me when I first started out. So when I first started, there were no podcasts, there were no YouTube channels, there were no classes. You walked around a contest and no one would tell you anything. They would act like you were asking for the social security number.
Yeah.
And I've always said I don't ever want to put someone else in that situation that I was in because it was harder coming up. Like Charles and Rob, you know, these guys that if I feel like I could read you and you're a good person first, I'm going to help you. And these guys will tell you anytime I go to a contest, I like to meet the new people because I want to help them out because the last thing you want to do is start showing up to a contest and you're lacking attendance because these guys just start falling off. You want to get them encouraged. You want to help them out as much as you can. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys, well, I compete against them too on a regular basis, but yet they know everything that I do. They don't know what's in the injections, and they may never know that. But at the same time,
you gotta keep something back.
At the same time, but look, I could say, Charles, go run my rib recipe, you know, in XYZ city. I'm confident he can do it. Same thing with Rob or anybody, and it's not that, and they give out information as well. But for the most part, I've always said I'm gonna read the person first, and if they're a good person, and then I could trust them with coming into, you know, our establishment, our tents, our trailers, or our homes for that weekend, and then eventually build a relationship and a friendship with these guys. And then when it comes down to building a team, you look at, well, what does your team require? Well, over the years, I found that Charles gives the best foot massages, so I wanted him on the team.
That's fair.
Because you do a lot of walking. You do a whole lot of walking. And when you come back, I mean, you got, dude, these bunnies need to be rubbed out a little bit. He's good,
right, man.
You know.
Hey, simmer down over there.
No, I'm kidding, but no, like I said, I'll start with Charles. He's the guy that's the workhorse that he never says no to anything. And I mean that in a serious way. All jokes aside, he'll do the dirty stuff that you can ask him. I'll do it as well. Rob will do it as well. Any one of us will. None of us are above any task that's on that team. Whether it be Charles, you need a napkin, James, you need a napkin, Rob, you need a napkin, whatever. It doesn't matter. Each one of us can help each other out. But then you start looking at what are their strengths. Okay, so I brought Charles onto my hogs team when I was the head cook and captain of a different team at the time back in 2017, because I was coming off of a run of I think two straight grands there. Actually brought him in 2018. We had two straight grands plus that contest event to the public. Well, that following year, I was vented to the public coming off of two straight and a reserve before that. And I was worn out. By the middle of the day, that Saturday, I was falling asleep in the campus. I was like, I need help now. And I need to bring people that I could trust. And him and a couple other friends of ours came on board. And we started developing a team where I know these guys can cook, but also know they can assist. And they can also be a teammate first versus a cook. Because you start to get too many people that think that, Charles came on right away and said, you know what, I can cook better than James. It's only a matter of time before, I push him aside. No. You need people to help you out, to assist you, to be an asset to the team versus someone who's just kind of laying your leg and just get free information. So he started early on with that as somebody that I knew was a sponge. I knew that he had a passion for being really good one day, but also being loyal as a person first. I don't have much of a voice from Hogs this weekend. So anyway, I knew that he had a passion first to help me first versus trying to benefit himself. Then I met Rob, I believe Parker's Landing, probably 20 or 21. Not 20. I don't think. Was it 21?
Yeah,
or 19.
Yeah,
and the first thing Rob did was he came up to me with just a very genuine, just good old boy approach. He had been following me for a little while on social media, and introduced himself. I think it was the first time we met, and it was just one of those situations where this is the guy that approached me. I don't think he had as many questions as Charles at the time, because at the time that's Charles' first year competing. Rob had been competing for 6-7 years, so he was already established. But at the same time, I think more so he wanted to get to know me as a person and become friends first. before we even talked about ever cooking together or anything like that, and it became a respect thing. So when it came time to hogs, obviously my first time really working with Charles in 2018 at hogs. That's when I noticed that guy he likes to work, he likes to help, he likes to assist. And then later on, went on to Memphis in May, and we ended up final in 3 straight years in Memphis in May, including winning the world championship, runner-up, and third as well. And we learned a lot from each other. Plus, we learned a lot from just our experiences there. Brought Rob on in 22 in Memphis in May, or 23?
23.
23.
And we were coming off of, like I said, 3 straight finals there. So we go into Memphis in May, and again, Rob, I knew was an asset. I'm not going to say, let me just bring one more person on who's just going to do nothing and they can't contribute to the team when it costs a whole lot to be there. It's you only have limited spaces, because when it comes to responsibilities, everybody in Memphis May has a role, and it's moving parts for presentation. Where hogs, it's more so everybody has a role. They have tasks to do leading up to your boxes or leading up to cooking for the public or things like that. Memphis May is a different animal. You have one major category of cooking for. We also have other categories of cooking the first 2 days ahead of time. Plus, we cook for our sponsors.
Yep.
And Rob was another guy. He never said no. Whether it be
James 22 was also when Rob cooked with us for the first time at Hogs.
It is. Yeah. So why didn't we invite him to Memphis in May?
Because he did so good.
We're scared he's going to take too much from it. I don't know what happened. But we went. You know what it was? 22. We had a Giants. A team is way too big. And then
was it 23, Rob? That you cooked with?
It was 23 because we cooked hogs and then went with y'all the next month to Memphis.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry, guys.
So his first year with us with hogs is 23 as well. So at the end of the day, it goes back to trusting these 2 guys first, knowing that I'm not worried about, let's say, trade secrets or recipes, because if I was, then these 2 guys would be on my team. I'd bring on a coworker or a family member that I know has no interest in barbecue, just to be an extra set of hands. But you can ask these guys, it doesn't matter. I've been running my same rib recipe for 13, 14 years now without any tweaks, without any changes. And they know it from the back, but at the same time, I still take a bite. And Charles will tell you this, when we won a world championship, I spit out everybody. I said, these are trash. I mean,
said he hated it.
That's when you know they're good.
I was also biting the in rib, which was always worse anyway. But at the same time, even though I don't really change anything, I still ask them, what does it need? Does it need more salt? Does it need more spice? What is it lacking? Because the meat changes throughout the cooking process, and I still rely on their opinions, because they're still established, well-rounded cooks that have won a lot of awards themselves. So why wouldn't I ask their opinion? And they'll tell you, I've used their opinions. I'm not doing it to satisfy a need. If Charles said need more salt, we're probably putting a little more salt on it. I'm not just going to do it like, all right, I made you feel good for 30 seconds. That's not. I'm not looking to waste his time either. So he's time away from family. Costs money to be there. So back to the original question, when it comes down to building a team, you build it with good guys first.
Yeah, absolutely. CJ, like I said, you've been part of the team for a while, and like I said, you bring your steak profile, because obviously, like I said, steak. I remember the first SCA contest I've been to. I was dumbfounded with the amount of rubs that these people are putting on their steaks. And it's steaks and ribs and barbecue. It's all about flavor building.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. How does that kind of translate when you take it from a small piece of protein, a quick cook like a steak, to something like you said, Memphis in May? Like, did y'all cook ribs? Was that ribs? You said ribs? Did y'all cook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was ribs.
What you take your experience like in the SCA world to kind of the MBN world or the barbecue world for as far as flavor building?
Actually, for me, it was vice versa. I was a barbecue guy first, and tagged along with James all over the country. Me and this dude literally have slept in the same bed together next to each other.
Hole to hole.
And
hole to hole. You do hole to hole or
no,
hole?
Hey, none of that.
Charcoal in between us.
That's right.
Being catch with orange bag is in between us.
James taught me a lot about flavor building and layers, and as a young man coming up, I always had a knack for cooking steak at home. And so I actually had one of my really good friends kept telling me, they're like, hey, man, you need to come over to the SEA and try it sometime. And me and James loaded up and went down to Lakeland, Florida, which was down there by Orlando. And they had a SEA. He was working for Central City Barbecue there in Central City, New Orleans at the time. And he's like, hey, man, they got a SEA event there. I'm like, what is that? He's like, it's a steak event. And Central City wants to put you in. They're going to put me in. You want to do it? And I'm like, sure. So we go down there, and I literally just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff that I thought that tasted really good for beef and did a salt brine and ended up getting a 4th place call. And I didn't even cook another steak event for another year, and ended up going to the shed down there, the Shed Showdown, and had a little bit of success. And so I started getting my feet wet in the SCA, and me and Rob became really good friends. So to answer your question, James taught me about layering the flavors in there to build flavor that you're wanting for that final bite. And then the steak guys, like you said, you use tons of rub for, like, in 2024. Yeah. I had 14 different rubs on my steak every single time, and tons of finishers and marinades, and it's just all these different things. And so steak compared to barbecue is just so much different. You really hardly can't even compare the two, to be honest with you, other than we're trying to master the fire and cook at a steady temperature and deliver a product that wins at the end.
Rob, is that kind of more or less how you feel as far as the comparison being a proclaimed steak cook, but having a barbecue background as well?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I enjoy doing both. I mean, fortunately, we're able to, a lot of these SCAs now, we get an opportunity to cook ribs. Usually we'll have a rib ancillary at, about every other event that we go to. So, CJ and I, we're very competitive with one another when it comes to the category at these SCAs, and he's got my number. I mean,
you guys have the standing $1 side bet of.
Oh man, he kills me. If I get second, he gets first. If I get third, he gets second. I've only clipped him a couple times. I've got him on a few good ones, but
I got you.
He's a hell of a cook.
Yeah, I've had a great mentor. I'm gonna be honest with you on that.
Good deal, man. Well, I'm definitely I have lots of questions because, like I said, I'm doing Memphis in May here coming up soon, so I'm definitely going to try to pick your brains throughout the show. But let's talk about the main reason that I have you guys on the show, besides being awesome people. You guys teamed up, like we talked about, for Hogs for a Cause. Fantastic, organization, what they do. And obviously, it's a huge contest. So it was 90. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. 91 teams, 96 teams. Thank you, 96. Sir. Wow. 96 teams, and as we all know, for a barbecue contest, especially one of cooking, not just like ribs or something like that, but cooking hogs. I mean, that's a monster contest. And so, kind of tell me about how you guys kind of got it cooked into that, and kind of how that whole setup is, because I mean that's a lot of teams. Where's it located, and how's the whole thing kind of work out?
It's I'm gonna take this. So I've been doing this since 2014. Started as another team, and then I started Fire and Spice in 22. I mean, again, it starts with having the right guys on board, but for the most part, you have ribs, pork shoulder, whole hog, and a fourth category called pork puree. But it gets a little chefy, where the main component is pork, but you can do anything you want. I mean, if you wanted to just turn in a fried pork chop, 6 of them you can, but you're not going to win. But you got to get really, really unique, really chefy with it. And what they do is they drop the lowest score out of the 4. So you benefit yourself by cooking all 4. Just because we've had a ton of success in whole hog and ribs, you might not be on that day. So if hog falls off, you have the other 3 to still carry you. and they make up 90% of your score at 30% apiece. The other 10% is fundraising, and that's weighted based off of the amount of dollars you raise. Well, this year a perfect score in fundraising is $75,000, and the perfect score in the category is 600 points. So you can get 2,400 points. Well, I mean, actually, it's not. You can do the math, right? I don't have a calculator in front of me, but either way, 10% of your total score is fundraising. It actually works out to every 10,000, I think it's 4 points from docked off of 600. When it comes time to doing this, we enter all of them. Plus, there's also ancillaries like wings, mayo side dish, a bacon category.
Sauce.
What else? Sauce. And
are those divided out amongst different teammates, or is it a full collective?
Yeah. So what I've done with that is, it used to be for years, and maybe this was a pride thing on my end. Maybe it's the fact that I went into each one of these things where, like, I know, I've won first in all these categories for over the years and all this stuff, and I bring on Charles and Rob, and initially it was, y'all gonna come cook, you're gonna come help me, assist me. Well, eventually I'm putting everything on me, and it starts wearing myself out, which affects the team as well. And then it also affects team morale. These guys are coming in their own time, on their own dollar, because everything's voluntary. So a couple of years ago, I was like, you know what? I need to start trusting these other guys that they could take on a category, whether I assist them or they just take it on by themselves. And because they're all really good cooks. And, so we have a team of, I think on our group text, we have like 15 people that are, for the most part, our cooking team. Then you have front of house people. So I have about 25 to 30 total people on the team that all have different roles. When it comes down to the competition thing, I wanted to build a true team atmosphere where, just because I give you team lead on ribs, you got two other guys helping you who are also very experienced cooks. Now, more than likely, I'm going to lean with one guy as a leader who either develops a recipe versus, all right, well, Logan, we're going to use your wrap. Charles, we're going to use your rubs. No, y'all want to do something that works. And you're not going to do anything that's going to sacrifice the team as well. Y'all know going in, and y'all might have, and I don't know this, but these guys might have had side group text to the game plan. Where I would kind of help out with, what has worked in the past, what kind of textures looking for, what type of flavors, but I'm also not looking over their shoulder either. I still trust them. They'll still come to me and ask me, like, what's this look like? Does it need anything? Just like I do with them, And I'd say one of the hard one for me to give up for a while was ribs. And that was the first one I gave up because I've made a name for myself with ribs. I gave it to Rob, and I knew Rob was a really good rib cook. I could have given it to Charles as well. Charles is a really good rib cook. We had probably 3 or 4 guys who could all cook ribs who probably could win first or anywhere in the top 20 out of that strong field. But I kept Charles on with me with hog because just the way we worked there on whole hog. And then another thing too is, don't want to break somebody who travels in 5 or 6 hours and like, all right, you get to tackle hog and you get to spend 20 hours cooking it, 24 hours prepping and cooking it. I was like, no, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that work and give you all the shoulder, the ribs. And obviously we have Mark Lambert on the team. I mean, how do you not give him shoulder? So
he's all right.
Right.
And he had
nice little addition there,
Yeah, he had Nakia helping him out along with, I think, this guy Ivan on the team. Ivan's not a competition guy, but he's a, whatever you ask him to do, he's going to do it. And you need those kind of people, like the glue pieces on your team as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came down to going into this year. Came up with something that I was like, you know what, before I present it to the team, I'm going to make one phone call. And it's to that guy up there, Charles Dash. And I said, and this was based off of a conversation I had with another cook at another event probably, I don't know, 2 months ago, towards the end of last year. And they brought it up, the conversation. I was like, well, man, you got all these guys who've cooked with you and either gone on and done their own thing and had success. And I said, Charles is a good cook, but he's been in the shadow for 9 years. And excuse my language here, but it pissed me off that they said that. Because he's kind of been right there by my side the whole time. He's never been my shadow. He's always been my right-hand guy. And he'll tell you, when I introduce him to somebody, it's like, that's my right-hand guy. So why would I ever call him my shadow? That's degrading to somebody who has established a lot for himself. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even questioning this. I called him up. I said, hey. And he answers the phone. We talk probably a few times a week anyway. And I said, hey, Hog, before I even talked to anybody else on the team, I said, how do you feel about taking on whole hog? And he's like, you serious? So, yeah. I mean, I'm not like saying, "Hey, Charles, take on the Mayo category." No, take on the hog. It's the biggest, most intimidating one. And I told him, I said, dude, I said, kind of briefed him on that conversation. And it wasn't, and I didn't really need that person to tell me that. I've been telling him for years, like, he wants to cook me up for some one year. I said, you'll never, ever hurt my feelings. You say, James, I'm going to put a team in, and I'm going to compete against you. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm probably spend half that week at his booth. What do you need?
Yeah.
You know, and I'll make a sauce for him. It's probably going to have horseradish in it, some green olives and stuff like that in it.
That's why it's going to do good.
Oregano.
That's right.
So, yeah. So, and what I told him was, so look, dude, you got this. I have all the confidence in the world. I mean, I wouldn't, at the end of the day, you still don't sacrifice your team. If I didn't think he was capable of doing hog or Rob was capable of doing ribs, then I wouldn't give it to him. You know, why? Why? Just to be a nice guy, to be friendly to him? No, I'm doing it to benefit the team, takes less pressure off of me. And then and by the time I gave Charles the lead on hog, he said, man, you're not going to leave me hanging. I said, no, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I mean, I'm going to be your teammate now. So what I did this year, I was basically just everybody's assistant. Kind of had a little input on boxing, on flavors, textures, you know, whatever anybody needed. So that was my goal, plus bouncing back and forth between up front and the back. Because an event like that it's a lot of work leading up to it, and there's a lot of work on the site. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it goes back to building your team. I mean, like these two guys, I trust them with everything. So why would I not trust them with a piece of meat that's going on the smoker?
Question, you know, for all four of you. I think all of us have done cooks from time to time by ourselves, and I mean by ourselves, likely, right? And obviously, we've all been on a team, whether it be 1+ or 2+ or 3+. The transition from when you've cooked XYZ event alone some, and then you've had that extra helper, especially as what, you know, Rob, you and CJ, where you guys know each other and you know the cook and you know the process, and you know, it might be, hey, you know, around the way and you're twisting and turning in a trailer, but aside from that, you guys know the timeline, right? You know the process. I want to poll the four of you individually. How important is it to your confidence when you're cooking with somebody else versus when you're second guessing in the trailer or under an easy up by yourself? Logan, I want to ask you first.
Yeah, no, like I said, I've cooked by myself, and obviously I've cooked with great partners. And I enjoy it more. Obviously, when you cook by yourself, you know, whatever, if you win, draw, or lose, you know, it's 100% on you. You can't blame anybody but yourself. But like I said, I got a great partner, mutual friend Cotton, and like I said, I trust him. I trust his palate, and we just kind of leave each other to like James was talking about on his team. You know, you partner up with people that you trust. You don't partner up with people that you can't hand off to, and we kind of trust each other to kind of run your own proteins and whatnot. And you know, it's you know, whatever he's good at, you know, and I'm not, I let him kind of take the lead on that, and vice versa. So I think it's all about, you know, yin and yang, and kind of keep the balance, personally.
And if I can, for the three of you, and we'll go CJ, James, Rod, speak to this weekend for Hogs for the Cause. Speak to because it's a tall task, isn't it? Right? It's not just this turning box and it's that, but it's also public. And at the end of the day, all of y'all who were there, all the public, was for pediatric cancer. So there's an ultimate goal and purpose that is pressed, and it's on the forefront. It's in all the marketing, it's in all the flyers, it's in all y'all's hearts who show up. But CJ, go ahead. Like from the individual to the conglomerate and team, speak from that avenue, if you will, for Hogs.
So when you cook individually, just like Logan said, you know, everything lies right on your shoulders. I am blessed enough to have a wonderful wife that supports me, but also
amen for that. Because if we don't all have
that, she also travels with me. Big shout out to her. She stayed up for 36 hours this weekend to help me cook this pig, prep the pig. She got 1 hour of sleep from the time we woke up on Friday morning until we went to bed Sunday morning. And so for anybody out there that's listening to this, I want to encourage you, because what I learned from teaming up with a team is more valuable than anything I've ever learned on my own, for sure. You will, you're always going to learn from winning and losing. But at Hogs for the Cause is so much more than that. We're there for kids. We're there for the kids that they're scared to death in their life. They're going through things to where their mom and dad are scared. And so when we go out there and we set up, we have a goal to first give glory to God, second to raise money and help these families that we'll never meet. And to have these two gentlemen and all the others that are on our team to help us is something that words really can't even put it together to tell you how valuable it is, because we're serving food to one of the biggest food festivals in Louisiana. I'm talking about 60 to 80,000 people having a great time, music going everywhere. They give an award for the loudest, most rowdiest party. And I don't say rowdy in a way to where they're in there and it's chaos. It's not that. They give it to whoever has the best time, right? And that goes on all Friday night. And so while all that's happening, you got a whole hog cooking. You got shoulders being prepped, injected, going on at 2:00 in the morning. You got all the things. And then when you have people like these guys right here that for it without a doubt, there's nothing that you don't trust more than them two. I mean, I would give these two guys a key to my house is how much I trust these guys. Really, they're closer than brothers, even though brother is what we call each other. And I'm just thankful for that. So anybody out there, if you've ever been on the fence about wanting to be on a team, go find some people that you really get along with, that you really can trust with, that you start to gel with, and learn from one another. And who knows what can happen.
Yeah. Rob, how about you, buddy?
Hey, man. Hogs for the Cause. It's an awesome event, man. First and foremost, we're there to raise money for the charity. The barbecue contest, it's no prize money. It's just bragging rights. And we're all real competitive guys. So, we're real passionate about trying to do our best and really get up on that stage. But ultimately we're there for, raising money for this charity.
And how much was it this year, by the way?
6.65 million.
Bam! Let's go.
Not bad. Not bad.
Oh, there's some teams out there, man. We're as far as our team size and even in the fundraising aspect, we're a smaller team out there. There's some teams out there that have 100 members that are raising $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. But they're made up of guys that, this is their event they do all year. Our team's made up of a bunch of competition guys. We're competing, in different events all year long. It's a little bit more of a challenge for us to try to, get the money raised and do everything. But it's always a great time.
But you're there and you show up.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right. And more importantly, as a team, we're getting better. We're front of the house, back of the house. Everybody is really gelling. I personally have been here since day one. James called me with the idea, said, "What do you think?" I said, "Let's go with it." We helped pick out the name, the logo, the whole works. Yeah,
it looks good, man. I like the name.
This is it, Fire and Spice.
Yeah.
Y'all show us some love if y'all can, and we already got some rally bounds opened up, and we're already trying to raise money for next year because we want to do better. Because it's all about the kids. Didn't mean to step on you, James. Go ahead.
No, we're good. Going back to the team name. When I started the team, I could have easily said, "You know what? We're going to go under my brand, Stockyard Landing, and you guys are going to come on board and help me out." But I didn't want it to be about growing my brand or Bama Barbecue Supply or 1776 Barbecue or even Sweet Swine of Mine. I wanted to have a name that we only compete one time a year under this name that people will know that's who we're competing under. And it doesn't matter if if you won a world championship, if you only won your cul-de-sac best burger championship, or if you're a 7-time world champion like Mark Lambert, everybody's accolades and egos are left outside the festival gates.
Well, I mean, almost everybody.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Rod.
So, yeah, I mean, speaking of somebody like Mark Lambert, one of the icons in the barbecue world, everybody knows who he is. And he's on our team. And one of our front of house things we had, it was like a buffalo rib that he came out with. He could have easily just said, hey, Keating or somebody else like that, Keating or Alex or somebody, hey, just cut a rib up, dunk in the sauce. He was there cutting ribs. He was there dunking the sauce. He was there passing them on to the people in front of house. Because he knows that dish right there, we sold it for what, $5 a bone, right? That's $5 more going to the kids. And we really put an emphasis especially this year in front of house, because we won more barbecue awards than any team there, or at least prior to even Fire and Spice, but kind of the core of our team before we actually started. The only difference changes the name of the team. But we didn't want it to be about that. We still wanted to raise money. So Zandy, the CFO of Hogs, came up to me and said, James, look, y'all look at this team collectively has the best collection of pitmasters in the entire field, but y'all's front of house sucks. Everybody knows about the awards, but they go there, we might have a pulled pork slider. Well, you don't want that at the best food festival in New Orleans. So Mark brought the buffalo rib. Nakia came up with a boudin stuffed donut hole. I'm a sweet person, so that was really good for me. I'm a big McDonald's fan, and I made a name for myself in ribs, so I came up with the hogs. It's smoked ribs, deboned, dunked in sauce on a fresh roll with a pickle instead of dill pickles. We did a candy jalapeno and bread and butter pickle chopped up. The onion was Funyuns, which really set it over the top. It was good.
That's a nice crunch.
And what's crazy is we now had some of these, local statewide food influencers. All these influencers go to this event, started tagging us in their post. One of the bigger ones said we're one of the 3 best bites at the festival. I'm like, dude, I've never heard that before.
James, if I can interrupt for a quick second, to your point of what he said to y'all as far as y'all's group. So I've never been. I'm very familiar because I follow it, just moment by moment. This person's going like, speak to how big Hogs for the Cause is with other teammates, other competitors, other teams that come together of this. You said it was 91 different teams this year? 96.
96 with a waiting list.
Okay, so speak to just for a moment to give y'all and to any other viewer, Tom, Dick, and Harry, who may or may not know it or be as affluent because other teams that compete against y'all, and who they are, or some notoriety type people, just to fill it in for a second.
Well, I'll tell you, the hottest team the last couple of years has been Hog Addiction. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing with them, though, what they've done differently than teams like us and teams like, and I'll throw out some other names you won't even recognize because they're all new teams by name, but not new cooks. But Hog Addiction kept their team a name, and Hog Addiction is how I would describe them. Like, I'm a big football fan, right? The team with the best quarterback sometimes doesn't always win the game. It's the best team that wins. They're the best team. They cook together at all these NBA contests, everything. And I'll say that. I mean, even in front of these guys, they're the best team together. They don't have the collection of award-winning pit masters our team has, but we're getting there. We're getting there to where we know how to work with each other. And that's now, like last year, we won the barbecue side. We didn't raise enough money. This year, we would have probably finished higher if we would have raised more money as well. So it's going into Hogs, they look at them, they look at us, and they look at 2 other teams as being one of the 4 favorites to win it every year.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Marcy and those guys. He runs a really good team.
Yep.
There's another team called Piggy Stardust, which you can look them up. You're only going to find them at Hogs. It's Tim Shear. It used to be Tim Shear and Brad Leidinger. Now it's just Tim. And he brought on somebody else with him this year.
Mike Johnson was Sugar
Mike
Fire.
Johnson. Yeah. So them 2 combined for a team. The team that won Grand Champ this year, it's called Carnival of Carnivores, which is Boar's Night Out, The Shed, and a number of other really good SCA cooks or barbecue cooks all together.
And 3 taxi guys.
Yeah, 3 Texas
Yeah,
guys.
right.
So and
Yep.
they had that inspiration from Ricky Bobby, and this is now their third year in? Or
Third
second?
year.
I think
Third.
that's right.
You know, so
It's
they
their
got
third
they
year
got
there.
they got their feet wet year one, and they didn't really do well because even though it's in being judged, you throw the whole public aspect into it, the distraction from competing. So you have to really learn how to do front and back. We've got the experience operating that format versus those guys, but once they figured it out, they're still a really good collection of people. And then you've got
U-Bonds, were they there?
you have U-Bonds who brings their team. They're another good team, not a collection of individuals, but a team that works together. So, and then you got other people like who are really, really good barbecue people that are competition guys, like our friend Jason Gonzalez. He owns Gonzo's Smokehouse in Louisiana, but his team out there is called the Pork Belly Cartel. Jason's a guy that if he ever competed at all, he would pick it up quick because he's a really, really talented fire manager, barbecue pit master, and he makes one of the best tacos you've ever had. Like
Period.
so front of house,
Yeah, no doubt.
front of house.
Period.
That dude sold in 2 days $40,000 worth of tacos last year, and
Wow.
he had 35,000 this year.
That's awesome.
And dude, they're
It was
cracking
what
it out.
3,700 tacos they sold in really in a day and a half. Think about that.
Did y'all have one of the? I mean, obviously, if you're speaking to the excellence,
I had 4.
Okay.
this year. I had 4.
They're that good, but that tells you the level of talent they have at this event. Where, and I've told people before, competition barbecue is a game. It's not whoever cooks the best barbecue, but traditionally it's whoever plays the game and makes the least amount of mistakes. You got somebody like him who's a legit pit master, okay? If he ever figured out the competition side of things, he would be a true threat to us every year. A couple of years ago, he had a really good year. I think he finished second or third overall with the first place. He tied with us for hog in first place. But that's the kind of people you go up against out there.
Gotcha.
And you got what's his name from Texas? Oh crap! It's on the tip of my tongue. But he competes in Memphis.
Master, like, is he on
Yeah,
a restaurant?
he does whole hog in Texas.
Eddie Morales?
No. It's on,
I don't know.
anyway. He's on the team out there.
Hold on.
They've done well. Yeah, everybody.
We're not even giving him his.
I guarantee if I said the name, we're all gonna be like, "Oh, it's." All right. Anyway, we'll figure it out. It'll come to me, and I'll just interrupt somebody and say it. But at the end of the day, this is an event that requires a true team, and I've kind of grown to that fact that I can't just do it all myself like I did in the early days, and I got to rely on guys like these two right here who can win hogs on their own if they wanted to with the right help.
There it is. Pinkerton.
Yep, Pinkerton, Grant Pinkerton. Yes, hell of a cook, and actually competes in Memphis Man whole hog. He's another guy that's out there. So
Did do really well in shoulder there, like last year or the year
done well. He's done well in hog too. So he's a threat every year.
every year.
There's probably a solid, just like any contest. You go to contests with 25 cooks. There's probably 5 to 8 that have a shot at really truly winning. Hogs out of 96 teams, you probably have 20, easily 20 that can win it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's including a lot of corporate teams or just backyard teams who want to raise money.
Yeah. Well, man, I want to put on my Shiggin hat here and kind of get into some meat and potatoes questions. So I have a group of guys on. Like I said, we got Memphis coming up, and this is I'm a Memphis virgin, so I got to ask some questions. So first off, let's talk about whole hog, man, because whole hog's one of those things that every pitmaster needs to do before they can call themselves a pitmaster, in my opinion. What do you guys think is the best cooking? We're going to talk equipment here, okay? What is your favorite, or you think is the best cooking apparatus for cooking a whole hog? Like, obviously, Brad and Tim, they kicked the door down when they got the whatever they call it, the giant can or
Mega drum.
Yeah, mega drum. Jay just came out with the BFR, more of a can style, charcoal style of hog cookers.
Old Hickory's had a foothold forever,
Yeah, I mean, you got so many great, cooking things. Well, what is, in your guys' opinion, what's the most or best equipment you guys can cook to do an evenly cooked hog? And also, I want to piggyback on that two-parter. What style hog do you want, the racing style, or do you want the missionary style, like I'll call it? Which one?
We'll take that.
Which one? We'll start.
That's a new
whoever
one.
wants to jump in there.
I'll go. I've got a lot of years cooking it. To be honest with you, the easiest answer is the one you know how to use, for one thing.
Amen.
Because we won first, and I mean, Charles helped me out over the years, and even prior to him, I've been able to set myself in ribs, but in reality, from a statistical standpoint, I've been more successful in whole hog over the years. I think we only had one hog ever finish outside the top 10 in any contest. And with that being said, we've probably cooked on 4, 5, 6 different types of smokers. It needs to be something that you can maintain a consistent heat, because if you're battling temperatures all night, you're not going to be focused enough to break down a hog the next day. So they all range. Like, they're all good. If you find something that's built well and they can maintain a constant temperature, that's your hog cooker. The other benefit, though, too, is it hotter on one side than it is the other, so you need to spin it, get you a good rack. And if you could do that, that's different. Like, we cooked on backwoods and won first. That's a water cooker. Old Hickory this past weekend. Dry cooker. I've got a custom built gravity feed. That's a hog cooker. That one's got us another first place hog. So, and you need to know how to cook first before you tackle that, because like me and Charles are going over a game plan for this one. The Old Hickory this past weekend is a dry cooker. You need to spray it more. Okay, you need to keep it wet more. A backwoods, you don't have to do it as much. You have all that humidity in there. The gravity feed retains a ton of humidity without actually having water pan in there, so you even spread even less. So you need to know your cooker itself. But to say there's a perfect hog cooker, I think there's one. You got to say which one's perfect for you.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I mean,
that you know how to cook.
That's true.
Yeah, when it comes to like maintaining, obviously the different parts of the hog is going to require different levels of heat, and like can take more heat than others. And the main thing is to kind of balance it out where it all kind of cooks at the same time. That's one thing I was kind of intrigued by the Mega Drum or whatever, where they could literally pick up charcoal baskets and kind of directly put the heat wherever they need it the most and take it away from where they can't. Obviously, you can do that on a bunch of different pits. But what kind of temperature are you kind of shooting for when you're cooking a whole lot? I don't think that's super secret sauce or anything like that. Like what's like a solid temperature you're looking for when you're trying to cook a hog?
We like 225.
225.
Long, low, and slow.
Yeah.
And do you do like when you're doing like your cook time analysis? Is it like 225 and X amount per pound or something like that? Like, is there like a general ballpark when you're cooking hog?
No, we like to be within a range, because that if you start slow, you can always speed up after you wrap, because at that point you're cooking. But for the most part, look, your process is 24 hours out. Whether you want to trim it, inject it, do whatever you have to, your process is still a long cook. Now, we're never going to cook something like an 80-pounder for these contests, so that's something to probably take in a 10, 12-hour range. But like this past weekend, we cooked at 155, and that sucker was plump. So that's going to require more maintenance on your hams and your loins. We do certain things to the loins to keep those steady all night long as well. Shoulders cook at a different rate than hams. So, like Charles, he's had the hog the entire weekend, and over the years we've told each other, monitor your temps, move it around. Your better built smokers are going to have as drastic for hot spots versus cold spots. But if it did, I would do. If you gave us something that was a big metal box and the fire's off to the side, we'll figure it out. We just have to work more, move it around.
All right, I'll go ahead and ask the difficult questions if I can see. Just by show of hands, higher or lower hams? Higher or lower 197?
It's feel.
Okay. Loins, higher or lower 142?
I'll go answer for you. At some point, they're higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for those little nuggets for them hog cooks out there listening.
A little higher.
A little
A
higher.
little higher.
Little higher.
I got you. Is there a lot of carryover? Like say when you're cooking a whole animal, obviously, like are you pulling it at the exact temp, or are you pulling it like a little?
No, I'll answer that based on what he was just asking me. I've always told people, let's say you go in your living room, right? You put your back against one wall, and you open your front door. Let's say you're opposite of your front door and sprint, but I want you to stop 1 foot before you hit that front door. You can't. You're gonna fall through, right? Or walk. Your back against that opposite wall. You walk. You're gonna stop. Same thing with thermodynamics. Is molecules bouncing around in the heat. So your carryover is a lot harder and a lot more aggressive the higher the temperature. You got things bouncing around a lot faster. At 225, it's much slower, so your carryover doesn't happen as much. So, like Charles said, when it finishes, you're going to rely more on feel than actual temperature versus relying on a carryover. Because if we were cooking that hog at 300, we might say, you know what, let's yank it from the fire when it's still grabbing a little bit because it's going to shoot past it. Yes. But this thing ain't done till it's done, whether it be probe or hand feel. But for the most part, though, if you like your number is 197 on ham, let's just say that's your goal temp, right? If we're cooking at 200 to 225, you're going to finish probably a little bit lower than that. You're cooking at 250 to 300, you're going to finish higher than that because the collagen and muscle tissue still need to break down. And then on top of that, just being exposed to heat for that long breaks down the muscle as well. It becomes softer over time. So that's why we rely on feel more than temperature.
It's not the
ham this weekend.
Same as a steak, right? We're talking about mass, right? So it does become scientific to where, Rod, you know this, and CJ, and obviously James, you know, but like the bigger the mass, the bigger the energy.
Right.
And so it's not the same needle probe for a ribeye as it is for center part or, the areas of a loin or a shoulder for a hog. Like they are all different, and yet we're still using the same thing. We're using fire.
Yeah, I mean, I've Charles and Rob have probably done a couple hundred steak cook-offs. I've done under 20. I've turned in probably under 20 steaks. I'll do them if they're at a barbecue contest, so I'll go to them for advice, and they confuse the hell out of me. They'll look at the friggin' at what height are the birds flying? Did one of them drop a turd right there, or did the other one, chirp louder at certain decibels? And they tell me, this dude told me to pull a steak off one time. I don't know the number. I was like, there's no way. That ain't going to carry over. Another time he told me to go 15, 20 degrees higher. I'm like, dude, why? Because there's other variables in steak world than there is in barbecue. Barbecue is probably a lot tighter than that one.
Yeah, the different cut of the steak. If you're cooking a number one steak, it has to finish at a different temperature than it does if it's a spinalis steak, So the steak game is completely different than the barbecue game.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Logan, to answer your question, for me personally, I'm partial to either cooking the hog on a DW, old hickory DW, the backwoods, and James's gravity feed, even though the door don't quite open more than 90 degrees, and it will it will burn your elbow every time.
You know why? Because you have to stay awake during a hog cook-off.
It cooks a great pig. It really does.
It keeps you awake.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Okay. So another thing let's talk about timing. So, we all know like the barbecue world, especially we'll say KCBS, because that's what me and Matt are most, accustomed to. You got the 12, 12:30, 1, 1:30, right? And so when I'm cooking ribs, if I finish an hour beforehand, it's okay sitting in a hot box and kind of carrying over. In Memphis in May, like what time does hog turn in? When is hog turn in? And like how soon before that are you wanting that hog to be done in order for you to break it down and prepare it for? Like, so obviously you got the box building hog, and then you got the show hog. I'm sure there's two different times you're trying to get beforehand. Like what's kind of like the grace period there?
Hey Logan, we're a rib team.
Okay, I'm talking about for hogs for a cause. Like when you're cooking hogs for a cause.
We like
this year they moved hog turn in, so we had a little bit more time.
I said Memphis in May, but you're NBN. I meant NBN, but
Yeah, but we like 3 hours before turning. You gotta let it come down in temperature a little bit, let it relax. Because I mean, on top of that, when you're trying to build a box from pulling from a whole hog, and that was part of relinquishing those duties to Charles, let him take the lead on hog. When it came down to the box, me and Lambert did most of the box work, but at the same time, we weren't leaving him out. We're like, Charles, this is why we're doing this, because we want Charles to be the next good hog cook.
yeah,
And obviously out the gate with a second place hog, that's a good start.
not bad.
But for the most
Not
part,
bad.
we were like, even on the trimming, there's videos. I mean, we talked about that. It's not
It's
not
a
do this
team.
because I said so. It's do this because I want you to learn it.
That's right. But it's a team effort, man. I
It
mean,
is.
Yeah.
It's
if
all team.
anybody thinks that cooking whole hog, especially, is not a collective team effort, they are sadly mistaken.
You'll ever cook the hog by yourself? It's the worst.
It's brutal.
Period.
I mean,
Yeah.
I did one for a wedding that James wrangled me into. I still don't know how I ended up getting that gig, but once again, my wife was there to help me, and it was brutal.
I've done a hog exactly one time, and I had help loading on the grate and onto the pit. Full disclosure. But aside from that, and I'll never cook a hog by myself ever again.
So
Yeah.
It is a team. Go ahead.
If you get an example, if you're cooking ribs, you can do it by yourself. You cut your ribs, finish them up, boom, in a box. You got a hog, and then I'll tell you what we did. I took I was on one side of the hog, Lambert was on the other side of the hog. Charles floated back and forth between the two of us. So it's still an educational thing because this is what we're feeling for. Here, do this. Where they pull the loin out. And then on top of that, Lambert focused on the shoulders. I was on the hams. Charles was with Lambert on the shoulders, right?
And the belly.
Most of the time. And the belly.
Yeah.
And then I shifted from ham to belly on my end. And then you also have Leslie, who is what I'd say is the ultimate sacrifice on needing the little things we don't think about.
Yeah.
Like that box is there with the napkins already around it. She got the little scissors, whatever. And to the point where you got what 4 or 5 of us around the table. And look, no one gets mad at each other. I'm trying to put something in the box, and her little scissors are coming in, and I'm like, but it's there because if she don't do that, I might not see it.
Yeah.
I get Charles' eyeballs are on it, Lambert's eyeballs are on it. We all have all these people doing it to build this box because you got 155-pound pig plus the weight of injection, all this stuff to try to find 2 pounds of meat, the best 2 pounds of meat on the whole box, on the whole pig. And so everybody get you a Leslie on your team on a big contest. You need one because she's going to make sure that
everything's ready.
Everything's ready. That we don't have to worry about 5 minutes before a tournament. We don't have a box. It's already ready, good to go. It's prepped. She even lined her napkins up in a certain order. That's what I learned this weekend.
And then she's taking pictures as we're getting close to the end. She's taking pictures and showing us what the box looks like from that picture, because when you look at that picture, just like you guys for the KCBS, if you're not doing this, you really should, because that picture will give you the secret of what the judge is going to see that you don't see when you're looking at that box. The only thing I question with her is I don't know how she puts up with that dude up there, but whatever. She must be some angel or something. But no, you need a Leslie on your team. You need somebody that's willing to work with you and listen, the entire time, because
speak of the devil.
There she is.
No, she got that natural blush on her already anyway.
Hashtag get you a Leslie.
Get you a Leslie. But that goes back to us building a team. If Rob led the rib team, okay? If Rob was on our hog team, Rob would be doing the same thing. Maybe I would shift the shoulder and Rob goes to ham or belly, or Charles goes on loin, whatever. We all know it ahead of time. We don't just open it up like, all right, then we figure it out there. We knew going in who's taking what. Because at the end of the day, that thing does take a while to break down, and that meat does get cold. So you got to do it quick. You got to find the right parts. There's a lot of sinew, a lot of skin on there. And so it is a team effort. Total team effort.
Logan, if you want to break down a pig for a box and do it right, you need to give yourself, an hour, 45 minutes ahead before the turn-in time goes, because it's a 155-pound animal that you have to take, like James said, 2 pounds worth of meat to get it in the box to have a chance to win. And
right, absolutely.
I got to give a big shout out to James and Mark, because there was some parts on the pig, like some of the ham meat this week. It wasn't where I personally liked it. I was if I'm honest, I was a little disappointed in some of it. And James and Rob both kept telling me, "Hey, man, that pig it tastes great. It's phenomenal.
We're gonna make it work."
But we're all our own worst critics. You know what I mean? And usually when we say we don't like it, the judges like it for some reason.
Always. Anytime I think, when I get done cooking KCBS, I'm like, man, that's the best chicken I ever had in my life.
Yeah, sandbagging.
Yeah,
chicken
no, I'm over here. I'm over here like,
guy.
if I say it's the best I ever had, just write me down for just last. Like I guarantee you, like if I think it's good, I get myself pissed off because I'm like, damn, that was good. Or I eat something like that. I'm like, man, that's really good. 9.9 times out of 10, I'll never score with it. But if
we
it's
all
like
have a
that,
story like that.
If it was if it's trash, it's trash. Or if I ever like, how'd you do it? Like, oh, it's the worst I ever cooked. You look out, because that's usually when it happens.
Yeah, I got this saying that me and my wife talk about, and I've been telling a couple of my buddies, and it's I've won with worse and lost with better.
Yeah,
So,
amen. And there's bulldog in it. Yes,
that's the truth of all of it. Hey, let's pivot. Like you said, James, you brought up ribs. And for NBN and KCBS, like I said, obviously two completely different styles of cooking. Spare ribs primarily, and then baby backs are the leader in NBN style. For KCBS, obviously we like damn near shy of diabetes as far as our flavor profile, what they're kind of looking for. For NBN, is it more of a like that? They like more of a tang and spice, or is it compared to like a KCBS style? What is like NBN style ribs kind of taste like?
I don't change flavors in any section about it. It's the same flavor in all of them. In fact, my wrap flavor,
everything's the same for him.
I don't inject ribs. I'm a natural rib guy. I think Rob might be a rib injector, or somebody else might be a rib injector. I don't do it, but I have the exact same rub, sauce, finishing glaze on rib shoulder rib shoulder pig. And then I preach in a presentation. I preach balance. I don't lean too heavy on the sweet side, too spicy, too savory, too salty. We cook a very balanced product, so we don't leave any guesswork at all. I even sit across the table, I ask the judge, is it missing anything? And sometimes it confuses them. Because if we're on our ribs, there shouldn't be anything that they're lacking. So to answer your question, like, we're not going to lean too sweet on anything or too spicy. Everybody wants to say you come to Louisiana, it's got to make it spicy. No, it's got to taste like good barbecue. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it has to taste like good barbecue.
I will contest to that. I've cooked with James from Texas to Tennessee, all the way down to Florida. He does not change that recipe one bit.
Yeah, but like when it comes to like what style of barbecue would you like? It just like the vinegar. Does that have any play in Memphis or not really? Like, I love vinegar sauce personally. Is like if I'm eating barbecue, like that's what I really enjoy. But going on more so, you're looking for more Kansas City style, like more or
just really balanced.
Balanced.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the entries that I've tried at Memphis, I mean, they're still a relatively sweet rib. I mean, it wouldn't deviate much from your KCBS profile.
I got you. Well, I remember like my buddy cooked NBN, and he was talking about putting maple syrup on a rib, and they looked at him like he had three eyes and two noses. But that's all. I was just kind of curious. I'm excited to go down there and see. Obviously, you got the I know no garnish with an NBN, which I think y'all hit that on the head. But the Cadillac Cup, I mean, basically when you're building a box, you just want to fill up the box, right? You're trying to just put as much and as good quality. And that's why, like, that's the thing about me. Like, how many racks of ribs y'all cook? Like, because I've seen, like, talk to some other people, they're like 16 or 18 racks of ribs. Why is 20. It that at 20? Yeah, why is it like 20. NBN, you think it takes that much versus, like a KCBS comp, you're cooking, 5 or 6 is like crazy high.
NBN now, the newer format the last handful of years is different than what it used to be because they're losing teams because things just got expensive. Memphis and May still being king of the world championships, you still cook a lot more because you have preliminary judges. So we buy 24 racks, cook 20. And we go through a process where there's 4 racks that they may look like world championship quality to everybody else, but it didn't make the cut for us. But we have a process, we only cook 20. And that's 20 racks of ribs, seems like a lot, right? but you've got your box ribs. You got your
That's
ribs
5
straight to the
racks right
box.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it
And
could be.
And I wouldn't suggest
could be
just
2.
cooking 5 racks for those 5 racks. Like
No,
it's like 8 racks for the box, and then
That's
you're
right.
going to have 3 sets of on-site judges that come. So
And
you
the
got to have,
finals.
probably another 6 for that, and then you need at least 6 racks of ribs probably for the finals. I mean,
because finals you have 4 judges. Now MBN, there is no more preliminary judging. You only have box, and if you make finals. That's it. So we cook. We used to cook only 8 racks, but me and Charles got in a little bit of trouble 2 years ago. We had the only perfect score in the entire field. It was perfect. Prelim. I mean, from box to presentation, everything.
Yes.
But then we had 8 racks to build our box and go to finals, and the 2 final we're down to just 2 racks left, and one of them just wasn't that good. I mean, we can admit that. We go to finals to present them, and just one wasn't that good, and we finished second at that contest. Where now in NBN I do 12 racks, and it works. Just those extra 4 racks, if you could fit them on whatever smoke you're cooking on, I would do it. I mean, you're trying to win a contest, not eat lunch.
If anybody's wondering, when we cook ribs for MBN, it's strictly a backwoods. What now is Blue Bayou. It's a water cooker because water really helps retain more moisture in the pork, which at the end is going to translate into a much better product. The ribs are out of bounds good.
Awesome. Good deal, man. Good deal. Well, hey, I got a couple more questions for you guys before I let y'all go. Speaking of Memphis in May, man, y'all have cooked it quite a few years. Tell me one funny story you guys kind of experienced, or something kind of off the wall you guys
just one
have seen in your years at Memphis in May.
I'll let you go first. We got a bunch.
James ain't gonna lead off.
For me, the year we went in 21, we had a really big team. I mean, we only had one place to stay. And when you go to Memphis, you're going to learn everything that you have to stay in up there is extremely expensive for that week that you go.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had 2 guys sleeping in the living room on the floor, both couches full, another bedroom full of guys. And there was one bed left. Me and James kind of looked at each other and like, hey, bro, look, you stay on your side. I'm going to stay on my side. And
that's what he thought.
We went with it, and it was funny because most of the time you hear that, you're like, oh, hell no, I ain't sleeping in the bed with another guy. Well, man, this is not just another guy. This is my brother. And
CJ, where are you from again?
I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi.
But you live in Alabama, right?
Yeah, I'm living in Auburn, Alabama.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're talking about sleeping with your brother. I didn't know. Alabama.
Yeah,
my bad.
I know, man. I know.
So for those of you following, there is an L in Gulfport. Just let y'all know that.
Sorry, CJ. Yeah, I didn't.
It's all good, man. I promise you. I got tough shoulders. I like it, And when you got a friend like this clown in the bottom, I mean, you got to have tough shoulders because there's no telling what's going to come out of his mouth. One minute he's in a good mood, the next minute, he can fly off the hinge and throw a little whining spurt.
Nope.
So let me ask you a question, man. How many CPAP machines were in that house, man?
None. Can you believe it? None.
Wow.
How many needed one? About what, 4 or 5 of them?
Everybody. Everybody.
Rob, what'd you say?
Yeah, I said I probably needed one.
Hey,
but I wasn't there that year.
I made sure I called my wife and FaceTimed her every time before I had to lay next to this clown anyway. So, at least I got to see the face that I got to go home to before I had to see his ugly face before I went to sleep.
Rob, how about you, man? Any memorable memories you got cooking at a competition or anything like that?
Yeah, man, I've got a lot of good memories with these guys. It's been an honor to be able to cook with both of them. They're both fantastic pit masters, and just good people all around. And it's been fun, man. We've had good times. We've had arguments, but look at James.
Do you,
Nah.
do you slap their hands when they come around the rib cook? Like, get away, dude. Go
No,
away.
not at all, man.
They just need to,
those guys
they just
are
need to slap me in
phenomenal
general.
rib cooks. So
Hey,
always take any advice from either one of them. They're both phenomenal rib cooks.
Awesome.
and me and Rob, I get to cook with him a lot more than I get to see James throughout the year. Now me and Rob probably set up with our tents butting each other's at a contest now 20 times a year. So
Yeah.
James just wishes he could be a part of that, but he can't.
One
He's not
big tent,
special enough.
man. One big tent,
Yeah.
man. It's like the Barnum and Bailey Circus under there.
It's family, baby. It's
They
family.
pitching one too.
Oh.
But you the one catches, so
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. All right, James, man. Let me land on you. Let me land on you, man.
Man, dude, this would be for a whole other conversation. But the first year I took over the team Bluff Smokers at Memphis in May, it was me and one other guy, Larry, who his position now on the team is a squirrel wrangler, and trust me, he's needed. And we took on Memphis in May with just being me and him. Dealing with a huge party the entire time, and that was a mess. But I'll just go back to that 21 year we won a world championship. You were talking about holding temperatures, right? These ribs we're cooking are about maybe 2 pounds. They're small. And there was a scoring error, there was an electrical error, there's all kind of stuff that happened.
Oh man, I remember that year. That was the delay, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
We actually held ribs for close to 10 hours.
Yeah.
I want to say because our turn-in was 9 something in the morning, 10
Yes.
roughly. And I look back on this, and we actually had our finals presentation was at 7:05 that evening. So we don't do a second cook. So after we won, there were people complaining on Facebook and stuff like that. That messed our cook up. These other teams, like the team that won, they probably do two cooks. No, we cooked. Our smoker was shut down for the day when the error happened. But you rely on experience. What do? We're here. We're not wasting much time. We figured out how to do it. But that's for the most part. I mean, look, we've got a bunch of fun stories amongst all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, that was also the year that they only allowed 2 people on stage because it was a year and a half after COVID started. So it was only me and the main guy on our team on stage. And you want to talk about the ultimate team support, that we had all our guys at the front of the stage, and they're just, they're yelling out, cheering and stuff like that. It's like you look down, it's like, look, y'all cheering for us two up on stage, but I really wish y'all could have been up here with us, because it truly is a team thing. So you go backstage, you do you get your trophy, the ice chest, and you take all the pictures, and they bring you back to your booth on a golf cart, and it just shows you how close we all became as family and friends by winning something that big. And, me being still to this day, only Louisiana Pitmaster ever win a world championship, coming back, and these guys are all just so supportive. We're on a little road. I look back, and it's like they're all like puppies waiting by the door because they didn't know that I left her at the side, and we're heading back to the booth. I'm like, dude, where's everybody at? I look back, and there's 10 of them. They're all at the stage, still looking. And I was like, you know what? That's my team right there. And then
cool.
we all went back to our booth, and there might have been some bourbon sipped on and some high fives and some cheers.
I'll be
off that we should have.
I'll be honest with you. After it was all said and done, and we took pictures, I went and sat on the banks of the Mississippi River, and I cried like a baby. I ain't even gonna lie to you
because he had sleep in bed with me that night. That's why
all the emotions hit
excited.
it one time, and it was a surreal feeling. Logan, I hope that you get to experience that when you go to Memphis, brother, because soak it all in. It's something
Easy
that
now.
you are
I'm a rib
remember.
team too, so
Just come on over to the silver side.
There's 4 trophies that they give out. So I hope both of y'all get to win one of them.
I'll take any of them. It'll be fine. Hey, guy, I can hold it.
Logan, are you you're a rib team? You're the head cook on that team, presenter and all that stuff?
No, yeah. So I'm not the head cook. Like I said, I'm a kind of higher gun on a kind of our group of friends we got. we kind of won a ticket to the Memphis in May, so we're all kind of just teaming up and we're checking it off our bucket list. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Are you cooking with Gareth?
Yeah, I'm with Gareth.
Okay, we're two
All right,
spots.
well, I'll say this.
We're going to be 2 spots down from you, buddy.
Hell yeah, man! That's awesome, dude.
So I was going to tell you, just like we stated at the very beginning, that I'm one of the first people you'll ever see in a field that will help out a new guy, especially the first time doing something, tackling that. You don't leave there discouraged. After we get off this thing, send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I'll give you my number, and I'll tell you where to source the ribs from, where to get them trimmed at. And then you want to see a spectacle, come watch us trim ribs on Friday.
Oh, bless.
That's
I love
not
that.
that's not something that most teams do. And
He's going to wait till 10 o'clock at night to start doing it.
James,
True story.
about how many ribs
In the middle of the party.
About how many
fine.
ribs do you cook for Saturday for Memphis? Like
20.
20.
20.
Okay, all right.
I got you.
And I hand trim
It'll
all
take you
20.
4 hours to trim those 20.
That's all good.
It's
I
a
average
true story.
9 minutes to 20 minutes per rack. Where a KCBS or BCA or any other format doing trim composition within like a minute or two, it takes me 9 minutes to 20 minutes per rack. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it's every rib looks the same when we're done.
Not also with the biggest party, probably one of the biggest parties in Memphis happening around that. It's crazy.
We've
I
got.
can't wait.
we've-
Well,
it's
I'm
become
really
a
shy, so I
spectacle.
don't know if I'll fit in very well. But I'll do my best, man. It's tough for me. Matt has to introduce me to people. No, man. But James, I really appreciate that. I'll definitely take you up on that and reach out because it's always been on my bucket list. Like I said, to experience it. Obviously you got the Houston Rodeo, you got the Memphis in May, and you got the Jack. I mean, those are all just monster contests. And my goal is to
reach out to me tomorrow.
I will, man, for
I'm
sure.
in my office all day tomorrow. Because you probably have to get that rib order in soon. We're only a month out.
That sounds
we
good.
got
I
some-
appreciate it.
We
All
got
right.
some guys in the comments that, just some really good guys on Hunter Brown cooked with us this weekend, and he was awesome guy. He's got some badass sauce.
He's gonna send me something. I'm excited to try that.
Yeah,
man.
he's the real deal. Keating and Murph, great guys. They helped out a lot this weekend, and
Keaton's all right.
Dale Barnett, he jumped on here. Patriot Metalworks. If you want the baddest charcoal chimney on the planet,
He's the one to get it from. Yeah, for real.
Dude, I'm just not seeing these comments. I didn't know I could click on them.
And Buddy Howell's in the group been watching too, man. He cooked on a team 16 Cracklins. He's only been competing. He cooks BCA. He's only been competing a couple of years in BCA. Man, that dude has come on strong. He is a phenomenal cook, and they had a lot of success this weekend. They had a good deal. And Hank King over there, man, that's a rib cooking machine. That dude's been on fire here lately.
He been beating the brakes off of me and Rob this year already. We let me and Rob let him try a rib in Summerall of October of last year, and we haven't beat him since.
There's your problem.
Oh yeah, and we got old Brady Crocker on board over there too. He's a good dude.
We got
Brett Childs.
Well, so I appreciate
where y'all cooking next?
We've got a BAMAQ event, a SCA event in Alpharetta, Georgia. We're going to not this weekend, but next weekend.
Then the following weekend, I'll be in Perry, Georgia, for another SCA event. I mean, God has blessed me there. I got a perfect score there one year and went back the next year and got another first place call. So I might not get a call at all there, but I'm gonna go try it again. Got to,
James, what about you?
I might do one before Memphis in May.
Are you going to come to Alexandria, James?
I might do Alexandria.
Or Spring Fest. Come on to the SIP. It's a Spring Fest.
No, I've got time on my schedule to squeeze in possibly one contest that's in Alexandria because I've got a big festival this weekend, and then after that, probably have just a weekend to get away from barbecue, and then the following weekend after that would be Alexandria, and then you head up, then get ready for Memphis in May. So maybe one.
Evan, to answer your question, yes, I'm pretty sure me and Rob will be in Clinton, Mississippi.
We got to support
Dustin Jones. If y'all haven't checked him out with
Yeah.
Southern Char seasonings, man. You really should. That seasoning that he put out late last year, the garlic butter one is, um, it's phenomenal. It goes on everything from eggs to popcorn to all of your turn-ins. It's really good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Hey, this is the kind of show as I usually do rapid fire questions, but since there's so many of y'all, I'm just going to ask one that I love asking all my guys, and I'll let y'all get off. I appreciate y'all hanging out tonight, man. It's been an honor and a privilege, and like I said, I love talking barbecue with everybody, and it's always fun talking with good people. And I look forward to seeing y'all at Memphis in May. But so last question, like I said, it's my infamous Meat Rushmore question. Like I said, if you see, I'm gonna go hit all three of y'all, then we'll wrap it up. CJ, if you could have a Meat Rushmore where you got 4 people that influenced you the most or you look up to the most in barbecue, who's gonna be on your mountain? And we'll work our way around from CJ to James.
It would have to be James Cruz, Mark Lambert, and I'd have to throw my buddy Rob up there. And when I first got started, YouTube was really just starting to come on, and for some reason, I really liked watching Robbie Royal a whole lot. So I would probably have to put him up there. And I want to close with this. When I won ribs at the Shed in 2022, when I had to cook the pork showdown, I had to cook against Robbie Royal. And I can still remember how nervous I was sitting there against the guy that I watched videos of to get ready to compete against him. And then I beat him. And it was just an amazing feeling. So there's mine. And thank you for having me on the show. I had a great time. And before I sign off, this is my little one right here.
There's a cutie. There we go.
This is Charlie Ann right here.
Hello, Charlie Ann.
She's the B&B young, little up-and-coming, inspiring pit master, their mascot.
So that's who's going to be kicking our butts here soon.
Yes, sir, she is.
That's right. All right, Rob, you're up, brother. Give me a Meat Rushmore, top 4.
Man, these 2 guys have to be in there for sure, James and CJ. I mean, cooking around those guys since, for the last 4 years has been great. I don't know. I mean, learned a lot from, watching videos and just, I learned a lot from a lot of these ABA backyard guys. Man, Alabama's got some great backyard cooks. I've got some really good friends. I don't cook much KCBS anymore. Man, there's been a lot of them that have been a big help, man. I have good friends like Pat Swindle, Russ Allen,
Russ.
and just some good guys, man.
They'll be down there at Memphis. We're excited.
Yeah, man, and I'm excited to see all y'all.
Absolutely. All right, James, wrap us up, buddy.
That's a tough one because you would think of 4 people that if I'm not going to be.
I got 2 more I didn't say. Hold on.
Go
ahead, Rob.
Jason White and Adam Gotro, Cajun Blaze. Those guys right there are solid dudes. Man, I learned a lot from those guys. Looked up to them. Back in 2015 to 2018, they were unbeatable just about in KCBS and just all around good cooks, man. They've really taught me a lot, and they're good guys, and I'm lucky to have them as friends.
I would have to throw them in there too.
Yeah, really good guys as well. But my next question is: have y'all ever seen Mount Rushmore? There's only 4 people on there.
Yeah,
I think you're like stinging Stone Mountain. I don't know what's going on, but no.
Very fluid here.
I'm gonna do 2 mountains basically. I'm gonna do the guys that growing up, who I looked up to, my mentors in the world is obviously Mark Lambert, John David Wheeler. You got people like Chris Lilly, and then on top of that, Marco Ronnie, who's got me started in barbecue almost 29 years ago, who was always the guy that cooked the ribs, chicken, sausage, whatever for the barbecue holidays. And the short version of that is, I was playing in a football league, and I thought I knew how to cook ribs. So I got some beef spare ribs from Winn-Dixie, put some Tony's on it and some Kraft barbecue sauce, raw. And these are the ribs that you actually make stock with. They're barely any meat on them. I had an old beat up gas grill, ripped the guts out of it, and had some case for Bashlight on there. Flipped around, probably tasted worse than my phone case. Ordered Domino's that day, and I said, man, I need to teach him how to cook ribs. And he said, I'm not going to teach you. I'm cooking next weekend. You need to come here and do it with me, which was Labor Day, September 1st, 97. And it kind of goes back to the whole pay it forward when Charles came to me that first time at the Iberville. I wasn't just going to tell him everything. He had to come do it with me. So with that being said, those 4 guys, along with my dad's been the biggest influence in the world to me. He doesn't really barbecue that much, but just being a mentor as a person. The other side of it is the guys, these 2 right here, that I would cook with them to against anybody in the world, okay? Obviously throw Lambert in there with us, and we go through a couple other guys. Anybody who was out there with us this past weekend, any combination of 4 of us, we'll go against anybody. And not just because we're going to get out there and in a football term, roll our helmet on the field and win the game, but we're going to have a fun time doing it. We're gonna mess with each other. We're going to tell a lot of jokes. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to create some memories and stories and stuff like that. But
we're going to argue before awards.
No, we won't.
Yes, we will.
You can argue with yourself.
Hey,
but
everybody GC'd until the awards, so I don't want
I mean, look. I would compete with any one of my friends there. I don't care if they ever gave up barbecue.
Good deal. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank y'all so much. Like I said, sorry I held y'all on a little longer, but when it comes to conversationalists and barbecue, time flies pretty quick, man. But it's been a blast, and I definitely look forward to meeting all you guys in Memphis in May. It's going to be a great time. Pray for some good weather and some good news. I'll guarantee at least one of them.
If you ever come to Hogs for the Cause, you have to drink the purple drink.
Always, I've had the purple drink. I've had purple drink before. No,
Logan, let's put it on the calendar because I've heard about it for years. Years.
Well, y'all come to Fire and Spice next year.
Gerald invited us last year. I should have joined him, but I definitely want to get in on that this year for sure. But I look forward to it. I hear nothing but great things. And guys, either way, like I said, make sure you support Hogs for a Cause. Like I said, obviously it goes to a fantastic cause, and you'll get to have a great time and some great food. So,
and by the way, one last time, that number that beat last year's record, am I not mistaken?
That's right.
Was how much?
6.65.
6.65
billion small hairs.
The goal for next year for 2027 is 7 million.
There we go.
Last year was 5.25, so we basically beat it by 1.4 this year.
That's awesome. Well, guys, like I said, thank y'all so much for coming on, man. I truly appreciate it. I'll get y'all over here, and look forward to meeting y'all, man. Y'all take care, buddy.
See you, man.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. That's it, dude. That's fun.
Fantastic, guys. For those who are still with us, or if y'all are listening to it, obviously we ran long, but for the purpose of running long. Amazing crew and amazing Hogs, and not that. I mean, how many comps do we do, Logan, that are tied to a charity and so
Sure. There's a lot of fantastic ones out there.
I say 99% of probably every barbecue competition serves a purpose, and we are not by any stretch taken away from those, right?
No. But like I said,
Hogs probably, as far as I know, and I will be the first to be wrong, raises in a single weekend the largest amount, I would say, arguably, and for a fantastic purpose.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for hanging around tonight. Like I said, I know you only get to see my beautiful face once a week, but so I gave you a little extra 15 minutes tonight to really soak it all in. Matt, as always, love having you on the show, man. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like I said, look forward to cooking some Q here coming up here soon. And guys, like I said, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I truly appreciate it. Like I said, you can be anywhere in the world, like Jay-Z said, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So make sure you tune in next week. We got a great one lined up, and that's all I got for you. I failed. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors for the show. Tonight's show is sponsored by Smoky Woods Barbecue, and as always, the greatest injection in the world, Barbecue Bus. Check out Barbecue Bus for all the great injections: peep show, beef show, pork show. Check them out. They're winners, and yeah, like I said, we appreciate their support for the show. And and you guys, we appreciate you guys. Like I said, we could do this without you, but it wouldn't be near as fun. And we appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you liked tonight's show, give us a like, follow, share. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, all the above. We truly appreciate it. All right, guys, that's our show tonight. Thank you so much. And when it comes to barbecue, make sure you're always right on cue.
That's all, folks.